Hi, everyone. This is Sacred Onion Studios 369. And today I'd like you to please allow me to take just a little bit of your time to go through and give you a breakdown of how empaths, and I mean deep empaths, or people with highly sensitivity to other people's emotions, um, goes through that process of withdrawal, that silent disappearing that we do, that most people want to think that it is all of a sudden immediate when all the signs were there. It's a process that we go through. And maybe this will give some insight to others who are insensitive to people that are highly empathic, and this may also help someone that has that ability and doesn't really understand how automatically they're going through that withdrawal process, helping them understand how we slowly withdraw, and to help them also understand that you're not broken, you're not weak. This is actually a gift of strength, of endurance, and point out some things that help you kind of guide yourself through it so that you can gauge where you are in that process and know where you're healing and know when you're almost done. I'm not saying force it, but to allow it. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and give a breakdown of each of those phases. So no matter where you are in the process, you'll understand where you are in that phase and where that finish line is for you before that relationship hears that flat line, which we all get to. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's just letting the door slowly close. Well, we've already walked away. We've already checked out of that. Now, the other person on the other side of that may not feel that way. And that's okay because you gave them chances. You gave them opportunities to take a look at themselves by being that mirror for them. And a lot of times, in a lot of cases, most people will see us as weak or something that they're someone they're able to manipulate. When no, it's far from that. We're actually giving them the benefit of the doubt because we clearly see what's happening. We clearly see the broken promises. We clearly see the actions behind the words that don't match up. The opportunities that we give that person to continue to maybe take a look at themselves to correct it. We're never loud about it. We're never argumentative because we see the hope. We see the possibility. We see the potential that that individual has in them, right? And we're hoping that, okay, our patience, our understanding, our gentle guiding can help them see and make that turn because there's a good person inside there. But whatever issues or whatever walls or whatever defense or distance that they've put up, you can't fix that. Even though we try to give them opportunities to do so, it's not fixable. And to all of my empaths out there, it is not our job to fix everybody. So take a deep breath. Remember, you don't have to fix everybody. People will hear you who want to hear you. They'll understand you who want to understand you. So be light on yourself. Be kind on yourself. But all right, buckle down. We're getting ready to go into this and we're going to break down all of the phases. And at the end, you will have that quietly closed door. Okay, here we go with the beginning. The beginning is the myth that we have an infinite capacity. Just as empaths are often misunderstood as having infinite patience, highly sensitive people are frequently mislabeled as too soft or submissive. They invest heavily in others because they are naive, or people think because they have processed high capacity to see the potentials of other ones, they don't just see the person in front of them. They see the person who they could become with the right support, right? All right. So, as being an empath myself, A lot of times people will think that we have this infinite capacity to continue to be there. A lot of times we're misunderstood or mislabeled as being too soft, submissive, because we're able to see the potential in other people. We're able to feel what's behind those walls that they have, right? And we want to bring that out of them, right? We want to be able to give them the right amount of support in order to help that person behind the wounding heal and blossom into all that potential that we see. And a lot of times that falls short and it doesn't happen. And then we get misinterpreted as being, like I said before, a little bit too soft, naive in some ways, um, or easy to manipulate when it's far from that. We're clear in who we are. We can stand on our own. You're not manipulating us in any way, shape, or form. We're making a conscious choice to try and help guide that wounded individual to healing beyond where they currently are, beyond those walls that they have put up as protection for themselves when it's actually really harmful to for harmful to them, because if they're able to see what we see in them, that will elevate them to such a great higher great higher and a higher level of their self, right? A better version of themselves. Not that we're judging, but it's just something you see. You can't see it. It's one of those things, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And being an empath, you want to get in there and you just want to give a gentle guide, give a gentle little push, and help them bring that version of them out and help them see they can be so much more successful and they can reach such greater heights if they choose to. Not everyone will choose to. And again, to all my empaths out there, I'm going to keep saying this. It's not for us to fix everybody. So, as an empath, once we see those patterns, once we see how the other individual is going to continue not showing up, is going to continue disregarding you, is going to never meet you halfway, that's when we start to slowly shift and that breaking point starts building, right? So when we start recognizing those patterns in the other individual, that, yeah, okay, this is going to continue to happen. And with these patterns continuing to happen, we're going to start to feel that a lot deeper and feel it more. So at some point, we stop viewing their actions as isolated. We stop mistaking and we start beginning to recognize them as consistent behavioral problems or issues for us. Then we're going to move through and we're going to start processing the loss of that misalignment, right? When the words and their actions and their consistencies never quite match up, that's where we're going to start putting that distance between us and that individual. When the trust is fundamentally continuously broken, we're going to start recognizing that a deeper is something that we can't fix and it's not a mistake. And that facade that they're using to give those little lies, that little deception, all those walls are going to start to crumbling for us. Not seeing that potential in that individual anymore, but now moving more into the phase of, okay, this is really not fixable. So we're going to start to let it crumble. And we're going to start to put some more space in between that. We're still going to show up. We're still going to be smile. We're still going to continue to smile. We're going to continue to engage. We may even still be in a stage of continuing to forgive, right? But now, when the invisible neglect of that situation, when that damage that we feel that emotional neglect and the absence of the effort of the other person to try and meet us where we are, that's creating more of that quiet, right? That's where we're going to start to linger in that loneliness while still maybe still in the presence of that person. But that quiet in us is going to start to speak louder and louder. That's our biggest voice, is that silence. Because in those moments, we're hoping, okay, we're not giving pushback. We're being reserved. We're allowing that individual to take time to really see themselves. Or the question, maybe we're hoping they're going to question, whoa, wait a minute. That empathic person's not showing up in the way that they used to. They're not asking me questions anymore. What's going on? Because they're going to start feeling that. Trust me. They're going to start feeling the silence, which it's healing for us, protection for us, but it's still putting them in that uncomfortable positions that maybe they'll take a look at themselves rather than always projecting onto us. Now, once that silence has started to set in, that's the first phase to our quiet departure. And within that quiet departure, we've started our grieving process, right? We've already started understanding, okay, this is not going to change. This is who this individual is, because we're seeing behind the facade. We're seeing behind all of the lies, all of the deception that they want the world to see, right? Because we see, again, that potential in that individual, but we know that that part of them may never come out. So we're grieving that, wow, what could have been, the gratefulness that that person could have elevated to. So we start the mourning and the loss of that relationship inside of our head. We're still there. We're still present. We're still engaging with them, but we stop chasing. Not that we were really chasing to begin with. We stop thinking that we can fix them. And most of all, we stop explaining ourselves to them. Because, right, you want to try and tell a person and you want to explain because you don't want that mislabeling of you, like most people do, thinking that we're weak or we're submissive or we're naive. We're none of that. We've already saw how this is going to end. We're just putting ourselves in a position to protect us so that when we walk away, there is no return. The door is closed. Opportunities were given. And once that door has closed silently, we're not going to go out kicking and screaming. We're not going to continue to ask why. We're not going to try and make sense of it. Not anymore. We've already done all that things in our head. We've already processed it. It's already been dealt with. The door is just quietly closing. We don't put any more fuel into that relationship. We don't put any more energy in trying to help people see things from a different perspective. So when an empath or a highly sensitive individual finally closes the door, it's because we have realized that, one, our self-respect is so much more valuable, and our energy will no longer be wasted hoping and waiting for someone to meet us where we are, to see us where we are. Because in their mind, they're thinking that they're in this higher, more dominant position, when that's not true at all. The empathic person or that highly sensitive individual has been in a place of, how do I say this not to be rude, but we've been in a place of higher intelligence, higher sensitivity the whole time. We've just been given you the opportunity to meet us there, to open your mind and to see what a wonderful, beautiful experience this could be if you let those walls down. And I'm not saying boundaries because boundaries are different. Walls, people are putting them up because they're hiding something and they're not being honest with that other person. And it just so happens us us as an empath, we see it. We see through it. And the thing they don't realize is that wall that they put up, it's a glass wall. And those times that we've questioned or we've tried to explain and we forgiven, they'll put up another wall. And they don't realize and understand that you put up another wall, but it was another glass wall. So all that did was magnify what you were trying to hide. It magnified all of all of those tendencies that you think no one saw, all of those patterns that you think no one picked up on. We see it. You magnified it. So there in that moment, while that's crumbling in our minds, while that magnification is going on in our minds, we're quietly, silently checking out. And once that door is closed, like I said before, it's peacefully, calmly closed because we worked through all of those emotions of loss, of grief, getting over being misunderstood, understanding that we don't have to keep explaining. We're done. So if you have an empathic person in your life, or you're the empath, or you're the highly sensitive individual, understand the patterns as you're processing them. Go through your process. It's okay. Because at the end of it, our reward is we come out stronger. We come out greater. We come out wiser. And the best part is it's not out of revenge, it's not of anger. We take that and we turn that into wisdom. So that the next time we move forward, we're going to recognize all that stuff instantly as we do, but with more grace. And maybe we might take a little less time to let those patterns register and a little less time for us to work through, compartmentalize, and putting it all together so that we can close that door even faster, even more quiet. Okay, so whoever this message resonates with, I hope you receive it. I hope you're able to understand and see all those qualities in your highly empathic, highly sensitive self and continue to love on you and know that it's not the other individual because you're perfect just as you are and you're not broken. You're not weak. You're not naive. You're not being manipulated. You're just giving the other person a chance. And it's okay. But when that door closes, as we all know, there's no opening it again. And that person missed out. That's the sad part. So in love and light, continue on your journey. Sacred Onion Studios 369. And I thank you for your time.